Hi everyone! So today I'm going to teach you how to make buttercream, and just so you know, I will put the recipe in the comments below, the description rather, so that you can follow along. I use the Wilton buttercream recipe, but there are lots of different ones and feel free to use whichever you're comfortable with. So when I bake or I make cakes or cupcakes, people often ask me, your buttercream is so creamy, how do you do it? Or I'm too intimidated to make my own icing. And I completely understand that because I was really nervous too, but it's really easy and we're gonna do it together. So we need equal parts of our shortening, like a Crisco or something like that, and unsalted butter. It should be a half a cup of each, so 1 stick of butter. I use the stick form of the Crisco, so half a stick. And you want to let both of those sit out at room temperature. That's going to be really important as far as incorporating everything and getting a super nice creamy buttercream. If you're using a stand mixer, you want to fix the mixer with the paddle attachment. If you fix it with the whisk attachment, it will not work. I found that out the first time I made buttercream. That was one of my big missteps. Paddle attachment always. If you're using a hand mixer, that's also perfectly fine, just your regular beater attachments. So I should mention before we get too far that this is a very exciting day because we are recording for YouTube and we're also live on my page on Facebook. So if you haven't followed me on Facebook yet, you should. It's Sweet Notes Bakery. I'm located out of Hagerstown, Maryland, so be sure to like that. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, follow me. You can look at see all the things that I bake. So now that we have the paddle attachment on here, the first thing you want to do is you want to add your shortening and butter, the room temperature ones, into your mixer. And you want to start, bring your bowl up, and you just want to combine these two things together. By combining these two things together early on, you're going to get a smoother texture because it kind of lets those two fats come together as one. And it's going to be a lot easier when you go to mix in the powdered sugar. So I had already started mixing this, so I've got it nice and combined, and you just want to scrape it down the sides of the bowl. And that's one of the things you'll have to be really patient with a buttercream. You're going to have to scrape it down a lot, and that's okay. Okay, so to this, we're slowly going to add 4 cups of confectioner's sugar or 4 cups of powdered sugar. So I have it measured out here, but I like to add it about a cup at a time. You want to turn your mixer completely off for this part. And this is the time-consuming part that I think a lot of people don't like. I'm not sure. The product is awesome. Now with 1 cup in here, you're going to turn on the lowest setting. If you turn it on a higher setting, you're going to get this plume of powdered sugar, and it will be everywhere. Undoubtedly, that almost always happens. And you can see it'll be kind of chunky and it'll look kind of dry. That is perfectly fine. Keep adding all your sugar and have faith it will come together. So now that I have 1 cup getting incorporated in there, I'm going to stop my mixer and add a 2nd cup. And this buttercream recipe is really easy to use and it's super versatile. You can add anything to it. You can add extracts. I've added lime zest and lime juice, which was really good, went over really well with the coworkers. But today we're making a classic vanilla buttercream, which is great for icing cakes, cupcakes. It's great for fillings, and like I said, it's really versatile. Then you can dye it any color you want as well. So you've got half the powdered sugar in now, so I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to kind of scrape down the edges again. Like I said, it's going to look like kind of chunky snow, if that makes sense. And that is okay, because when we add our liquid in at the end, it will be wonderful and smooth and creamy and just what you had hoped. So our 3rd cup of powdered sugar going in here. Now the other thing you might notice is that your buttercream isn't perfectly white. I think a lot of us have this perception that it's going to be perfectly white. Actually, it's going to be slightly off-white because of the color of butter. If you want a perfectly white buttercream, you can do this using a straight shortening, using like just Crisco. And there are recipes out there that do that. I just happen to like a traditional mix of the two. And remember that if you're using other colors, this will appear white next to any of those, so that is perfectly fine. So now with my third cup added, it's kind of all grouped together on the paddle. So I'm going to scrape that down here. That is totally normal. Now it's kind of made almost a paste because it's starting to come together a bit. And so we'll just, as non-messy as we can, get the rest of this in here. See, it's everywhere. That's part of the fun of baking. Okay, and let's mix the rest of this in. So when it's all finished, it's going to look really dry at this stage, but we still have two important ingredients to add. And that is whatever extract you're going to use. I'm using vanilla extract this time, so we're making vanilla. You could add a mint extract, that's really good. If you wanted to use orange, you could. I would suggest using orange zest though. It's a much better flavor, and the texture is really cool in an icing. So to this, I'm going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. If you like a little bit more, you can go a little bit more. When you're playing with other extracts, be careful. Some are very strong. And if you over extract, there's no going back. So you can hear the mixer kind of sounds like it's struggling. That's because it's all one group here. So what we're going to do now is you're going to add your milk or your heavy cream. So I actually add heavy whipping cream to mine. And that is because it gives it an even silkier, smoother texture. But I started out making this with milk, and it's excellent with milk as well. So when your mixer's on its lowest setting, you're going to need about 3 to 4 tablespoons, depending on what consistency you want your buttercream. Now, I've made this buttercream a couple of times, so I'm more apt to just eyeing the ingredients, but feel free to measure them out. The less milk you use, or if you're using some kind of juice or something like that, like I used lime juice or orange juice, the less you use, the thicker it's going to be. The more you use, the thinner it's going to be. The important thing is to do it slowly. By adding it slowly, it lets you completely control what the mixture looks like. You add too much, it's going to be harder to go back. Add powdered sugar, it's going to throw off your balance, and you can end up with a buttercream that's far too sweet. If you add too little, it might be really tough to spread or pipe, and then you're going to rip your cake. And that is really frustrating. So I have about half my milk in, and I'm just going to stop the mixer, kind of pull some of this that's gotten on the paddle, and scrape it down. Again, this is the part that takes patience with the buttercream. It's already looking really good, and it smells super good. Start it on low again, and I'm going to keep adding a little bit of milk. Like I said, you certainly can use milk, any kind of milk, whether it's whole milk or even your skim milk is fine. The heavy cream, like I said, does give it a nice texture. And see how that works. And once you have the amount of milk you think you want to add in, you can bump your mixer up. Doing this, it's going to help completely beat out any of those lumps, which is also why we beat the butter and the shortening together in the beginning. And this is going to give it a super smooth consistency. Now each person judges differently when it's done, but I can tell by the way it leaves marks on the sides of the bowls when it's reached the consistency that I'm looking for. So that actually looks really good. So let's take a look at it. Put your bowl down here, paddle attachment. And that looks really good. Rich, creamy buttercream. My husband laughs because when I was first making buttercream, my test as to whether or not it was successful was if it would stay in the bowl when I held it up over my head. Should we go for it? Let's do it. Okay. So, it is heavy. Here's the true test. It's not going anywhere. Which means that your buttercream is perfect. Like I said, it's really versatile. At this point, you can dye it. You could add other flavorings if you wanted to and just mix them in. Buttercream is great to make ahead of time if you're making cupcakes for something for your kids for school, or you're making a birthday cake for someone and you've got a busy work week ahead. You can make this ahead of time. It can sit in a airtight sealed container on your counter for about a month, and it can sit in that same container in your fridge from the beginning for about 2 months. If you do put it in the fridge, you want to make sure that you take it out, let it come to room temperature, throw it back in your mixer, or get your hand mixer out and rebeat it so that it's nice and smooth and it's ready to use. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't be intimidated by icing. We can all do it. It's really easy. I just showed you. So tune in hopefully later this month. I should be able to put up another video. We'll make Swiss meringue buttercream and you'll feel extra fancy. So until then, enjoy all the icing you can possibly handle.